that take place due to overcrowded trains. Western Railways is coming up with automatic door system on a trial basis. And by July, they're going to increase the number of coaches. They're also looking at completing all of the boundary walls by the end of this year. All of this to decrease the number of accidents that take place on the railway lines.
Every year, 2,500 people fall from the running train, out of which 880 people died every year, which is the RTI reply from the Railway Police of Mumbai. So to prevent the people falling off the train, we want the closing door.
लोग बीच में से कूदते हैं, जल्दी उतरना, चढ़ना, इससे किसी भी तरह की दुर्घटना होने से बच सकते हैं.
It will be difficult for people to get in or get out within that half a minute or span of time that is given by the locals.
People, they'll be more conscious about getting inside the train and not to hang around over the corridors and get inside safely.
मतलब ही नहीं है वो door close वाले train का. यहाँ पे तो यूजफुल नहीं होगा. I don't think so.
Already दरवाजा इतना full खचाखच भरा हुआ आता है, तो बंद कैसे हो? If they make automatic doors, first they have to control the crowd, because here nobody will understand that if the doors close, people enter the train like crazy.
और जो ट्रेन में जो भीड़ है, असुविधा जो होती है चढ़ने के बाद में धक्कम पेली, वो कम हो जाएगी.
डाउटफुल है, सक्सेसफुल होगा या नहीं मालूम नहीं, क्योंकि इतनी भीड़ रहती है ना ट्रेन में, बोल नहीं सकते.
6,000 people die on Mumbai's local every year. Anywhere else in the world, that number would be an epidemic. But unfortunately for us, life is cheap in our country. People die because they are dangling out of the train and they get hit by a pole. People die because they fall through the gap between the platform and the train bogie. People die because there just isn't enough space, and while they're dangling out of the train, some of them lose their footing and fall onto the tracks, and then they're run over. This is unfortunately the truth of the city that we live in. The local train has been celebrated as a lifeline of this city for far too long. I think personally we should stop celebrating it. It is a death machine, and there's been very little responsibility in it. The visuals that you're looking at on your screen is actually how the local train functions every day. Now, these people do not get on this train because of the spirit of Mumbai. They get on this train because they have no choice, because there isn't any other way that they can get to work on time. What happens if you put doors on these trains? Will they save the lives of the people who have been lost up till now? People who will fall out of those trains, people who will get hit by poles. Is the door really the solution, or is it more capacity? Is it higher investment? Joining me on the show this evening, Aarti Sathe, spokesperson of the BJP, Sudhir Zaveri, railway activist, Gaurang Damani is the founder of diehardindian.com, is also an activist. Rishi Agarwal is an environmentalist who spent a lot of time helping Mumbai with its transport plan. Sudhir Badami is a transport expert. Ketan Goradia is a railway expert, and I'm very glad to have all of you on the show today. Ketan, I'm going to start with you. Are doors the solution?
They are rubbing salt in our wounds. That's what I'll say. PAC is just rubbing salt in our wounds. Now, without, if any one of those PAC member had ever come to Mumbai and tried to get on a crowded local, they would not even talk about closing the door till they add capacity. What is this? I mean, how do we?
No, but the argument could be that, the doors are like seat belts. You must put them on. You can't not have doors.
I agree. Doors are like seat belt, and you should have them closed. But then, where is the space? We are having a density of 16 in the passage. That means that 16 people are standing in 1 square meter. Where is the reduction in density? If the density reduces to about 8 per square meter, then only we will have, even then we'll have to use pushers to push people in, and then the doors can be closed. And when the doors are closed, we are not having an air conditioned system. Each person gives off heat equivalent to a 100-watt light bulb. The temperature inside would spike to somewhere in the region of 54 degrees, and then we would have deaths due to maybe heat stroke. Yes. Now, what are they up to? I mean, you are going to save some people falling off train, and then you're going to make them die by heat?
So, okay, let me just get everyone's view out here, and I also want to know what then is the solution. Samir Zaveri, do you believe doors are the answer?
See, closing door I have already demanded in year 2008 by filing the public interest litigation in the Bombay High Court. And the January 2016, the Railway Officers Committee submitted the detailed report. They agreed to the air condition and non-air condition the door closing system. One. The main issue is I want to correct the statistics which I obtained under Right to Information Act from Railway Police. Every year around 3,500 people died in Mumbai suburban section and equally injured. And one thing is the overcrowding. So to reduce the overcrowding, in year 2010, the Railway Authority already obtained the loan from the World Bank. I have the report copy, just I am giving 30 seconds the outline of that. In the report copy it is written, this is the report copy, that to reduce the overcrowding, a project that time was supposed to start in 2010 and completed in 2015.
Has not happened?
No, and they have written that daily 10 to 12 deaths in the Mumbai suburban section, and the entire the $430 million Indian rupees is the 2,500 crore rupees, the loan amount. And this is clearly they have stated that April 2009 the overcrowding of one suburban train was the 5,400 people. With the using this fund, it is going to down by the 4,000 passenger. It is not happen.
So basically what you are saying, Zaveri, is the plan थी, लेकिन किसी ने execute नहीं किया.
No, money came, money used. On paper सब कुछ अच्छा होगा उनका. But actually the purpose for the obtaining loan is not served. So now it is the government has to conduct the probe either by CBI or the any independent agency and fix the responsibility of the officer who are responsible for the failure of this.
Ketan?
Completion.
No. The whole direction is wrong. First of all, increasing the number of bogies doesn't necessarily increase the capacity of
because that's what the
line.
suggestion also says. Go from 12 to 15.
12 to 15. This is nothing but stupidity. I'll tell you how. The train has a mass, and depending on the mass, it has a braking distance. I'll give you an example. A scooter can stop at a lesser distance with the same kind of brake than a truck.
Yes.
So the mass that is added to the train, when if you see the old timetables, when we had 9 coach, the distance covered from Churchgate to Virar took 59 minutes. Now it takes 1 hour and 26 minutes. Okay,
so you're basically saying just adding more boxes and cars to the same train is not the solution.
It's not the solution.
So you believe, Ketan, from reading these suggestions, and they're in front of you, that the committee has made, and this is the Public Accounts Committee on Mumbai Railways, you believe that they're completely off the mark and they barely know what they're doing.
No, forget the off the mark. They are rubbing salt in our wounds. That means that everything that they have said is either already, orders have been obtained through the High Court, or they are saying some things which are not implementable at all. So I'll just go through recommending designing the coaches automatic door, increasing coaches to 15.
Yes.
Now, if you want to increase coach to 15, where is the space for siding? Where is the space to increase the platform length? Where is the space for that means the signals will have to be respaced. Then your braking distance will have to be reset. Your sectional speed will have to be reset. In 84, it was recommended that the bogies should be raised from 9 to 12.
Right.
2016, the work was over. That means 30 years.
It took to add a few bogies.
Nothing, basically. Basically, they have done nothing.
Right, I want to bring in Aarti Sathe, who represents the BJP both at the state and the centre. I want to remind our viewers that the Mumbai Rail is not under the jurisdiction of the state government. It's under the jurisdiction of the Union Railways Ministry. Aarti Sathe, you're a Mumbaiker yourself. It is appalling the conditions in which the citizens of our city travel every day. One train of 12 coaches ideally should take 1,172 people. In rush hour, it carries over 5,000 people. It's inhumane, Aarti. Why hasn't more been done?
No, I think it's not really correct to say that not much has been done. In fact, we have a very proactive railway minister in helming the affairs, Mr. Suresh Prabhu. If you see the 2017 budget, the railway budget, a huge allocation of more than 636 crores has been made as far as Mumbai is concerned. what also
made to the local. That was not made to the local. It was made. It was made to the metro, not to the local. And anyone who wants to come in on that, Ketan, go ahead.
Let me just say that nothing has been done in the budget for Mumbai.
And government in fact has achieved in having unmanned gates. We also have a rail safety fund which has been established by the union government, and sufficient allocation has been made to the states. In fact, elevated corridors are being made from Vasai to various sectors. So a lot of improvement and a lot of changes are taking place.
Let me come in on this. Let me come in on this.
Pressure.
Aarti, we studied. We studied the budget very closely from the point of view of the Mumbai local. And there wasn't much said in the budget, in the rail budget for the Mumbai local. Yes, new, attractive, shiny projects were announced, which are great for announcements, but nobody wants to fix the local. There was nothing there for the local.
Let me say, even the MUTP, which is sanctioned, MUTP 3, where they are going to borrow money from the World Bank and we will have to repay the money. What are the main projects? The main project is the quadrupling of line beyond Virar, Virar to Danu. Now you are running one train an hour in that section.
Correct.
And then you want to quadruple the line. What for? Acha. Then there is one more project. You will have doubling of the line from Panvel to Karjat. Now is that your suburban section? Is there even one suburban station in that section? Now, who are you trying to
How does that help those people who are squeezing into a train every day?
How is that 6,000 crore that you are misspending? Ek minute. How is that 6,000 crore which you are misspending on priorities which are not there right now going to help Mumbai? You tell me that first.
And 1 minute. Before you start making these allegations, kindly see that what all has been done. Now, as far as the technical things are concerned, of course, there are expert committees which have been set up, and of course, there are people who are in the know of things who will be advising the government and especially the railway ministry. But as far as what has been done so far and the allocations which have been made, let me just point out that there are 7 new lines and several other projects which have been sanctioned by the union government. There is a Bandra-Virar elevated rail corridor which has been sanctioned. Also,
Aarti, we know what is being sanctioned. We know what is being sanctioned.
I don't know them by heart.
There is
Mumbai Railway Vikas Corporation.
The truth is that all of those new sanctions are for new lines. What are we doing to improve the ones that already exist? What are we doing to improve the safety that already exists? Rishi Agarwal, we've talked about this several times. That transport in Mumbai is abysmal. It's inhuman.
Mobile apps, as far as women's safety is concerned, is put in place.
It's inhuman, Rishi Agarwal.
So, the issue is not the issue of overcrowding in trains and preventing the deaths. Has nothing to do with just the railways itself. It is the question of adding capacity not just on railways but adding overall transport capacity. I think over the past 30, 40, 50 years we've completely neglected developing new corridors. Metro, which should have come sometime in the 1960s to Mumbai, is coming only now. We have only got 11 kilometers of functional metro in the city. So these are the kind of legacy issues which we are facing.
So Rishi, since you're saying we've not developed new corridors and the metro has come late, the metro has come now. And like Aarti was telling us, there is a new corridor being developed. Is that the solution then? And I'm focusing here on one problem, overcrowding in trains. Let's not get distracted by the other stuff. So the corridors that Aarti is talking about and the metro that has come now over the last few years, are these the solutions to overcrowding in trains?
See, some of the new corridors which are coming up will definitely be a solution to overcrowding, but they are clearly 3 to 5 years away. And this should have been done, like I said, 30, 40 years back. But the other big issue is about urban planning. We've been recklessly seeing our land being exploited for housing, whether illegal slums or for adding FSI, in a completely unscientific manner. So urban planning has been completely missing, where you're piling up, bundling people into one corner of the city and then making them work in another corner of the city and then making them travel 20, 30 kilometers. So this has been a classic urban planning failure, where you should have had more dispersed business districts, which is now, of course, happening. But these are the solutions.
I want to focus on overcrowding right now, because that's the problem that we're looking at. To my viewers at home, look at your screens. These are people who are crossing the tracks. These are people who are attempting to catch the train before it stops, because that is the only way they can get in. These are people who are squeezing their way into the train before the ones who are in get a chance to come out, because that's the only way they'll get space. This is how regular people like you and me travel in Mumbai. Everybody takes the train. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for the quality of that travel right now. I want to bring in Sudhir Badami. Sudhir Badami, how much has been done to improve the train service? And do you believe that doors are the solution?
Doors are not the solution. What we need to look at is overall picture. If you give me 2 minutes, I will explain what it is. We have what Rishi Agarwal said is not totally correct. If you go by the statistics that they have got, you have 57% of the population staying within 3 kilometers of their place of work, 69% within 5 kilometers, then you have 82 within 10 kilometers and 89 within 15 kilometers. There's only 11% which is staying beyond 15 kilometers. Now, only thing is that 11% happens to be of 1.25 crores, and therefore it's a large number. We are dispersed in a manner which is ideal for a city urban planning, but most important thing that we need to understand is that we need, as Rishi Agarwal has said, more public transport capacity. It doesn't have to be only railways. Railways, in my opinion, have reached the saturation point as far as Mumbai city is concerned. And MUTP 3, 4, etc. shall be of the Mumbai metropolitan region. So that has to be understood. And therefore, we have to concentrate on increasing the capacity, which the metro is supposed to address. But if Metro Line 1 has taken 8 years to complete 11 kilometers, I don't expect that it will take 100 years for 143 kilometers. But nonetheless, they are overestimating or over-optimizing, or optimism is there, saying that they will be completed by 2023. And that is, I think, fooling themselves and fooling the public. Point is, we are going to have a lot of problems as far as metro is concerned, and metro capacity also, while the extra capacity that is needed is 180,000 persons per hour, Metro is going to provide only 98,000 persons per hour capacity. I think there are a lot of calculations in that, which I think
and you know, there's a bigger question, Sudhir Badami, that I've been dying to ask, because I see every day from my window a monorail that goes from Chembur to Vadala empty all day. It's like a horizontal lift. It's just going up and down, up and down. There's nobody taking that train. It's a train from nowhere to nowhere. Ketan Goradia, if we could spend that kind of money building a train going from nowhere to nowhere.
That's what I said, you know, it is a train going from nowhere to nowhere. And
wouldn't that money have been better utilized on the local train?
That is exactly how MMRDA plans everything. MMRDA is really bad in planning. That's one thing we have to realize. We will have to put in some suggestions by which public is taken on board in MMRDA. There is nothing worse done than planning by MMRDA. I'll give you an example. Even the Metro 3 line, when it is designed, you have to design a line from a residential area to an office area, or from an industrial area to an office area. What Metro Line 3 has done is it has connected an office area with another office area with third office area. Now, how does this work? How does it work?
So those people who have to do meetings in the middle of the day from one point to another. Gaurang Damani, should more money have been put or invested into our local trains? Has that money come in?
Yeah, first of all, I think the PAC suggestion on the boundary wall is excellent, because whenever we approach railways, you know, the budgetary issue is always there. I think boundary walls will solve a lot of problems in saving a lot of lives, because it will reduce trespassing. And coming to the main topic of the automatic door closure, I think personally, I think it's a good idea. And the reason is, if it is used in conjunction with some creativity in the timetable, I think it can do good, because ultimately...
How? Give us an example.
Yeah, see, I've been following up with railways for about a year, and I've used the statistics of the ticket sales of the suburban railway, and also the demographic study of the census. It clearly shows, and even just being open, keeping your eyes open will tell you the population has moved northwards. from the earlier hubs of Churchgate, CST, Nariman Point, the hubs have now moved to Lower Parel, BKC, Andheri and northwards. So it clearly shows that the traffic now is north of CST and Churchgate, whereas the train services are still 90% focused on CST and Churchgate. So if the services start from Andheri in the western line and Kurla on the central line going northwards, it will cater in a much better way to the overcrowding. And one obvious thing which came to my attention, which I've brought to the attention of Western and Central Railway, is that there are a lot of trains running in the morning peak hours between Churchgate and Bandra and between CST and Kurla. It ends at Kurla and then returns back. And
so
it's a waste of space.
Right now because nobody needs to go there. Ketan?
Because they wanted to show that they are running more services, they are doing this, but it doesn't help any.
No, but I'm about to finish. Western Railway has been extremely proactive in this, and as on a trial basis, they cancelled 5 services between Churchgate and Bandra, and that has created over 10 services in the Andheri to Virar sector. And without any hitch. This happened in October, and Central Railway is also looking at the same. And if these changes happen, like if more services are added between Vadala and Panvel on the harbour, as opposed to running trains in the lower part of the city in the southern end, I think it will make a big difference.
The problem is not running from the lower part of the city. The problem is the turnaround. We need extra platforms if we have to have turnaround. So
Andheri has turnaround.
No.
Kurla has a whole platform.
Andheri has only 9 platforms.
No, it's already happening.
And it has got 6 continuous use.
No, you can't be defeatist in everything.
No, we are not talking about defeatist. We are talking about practical solutions.
No,
practical solution is the same.
Western Railway has already implemented it.
We need to connect the Western
Railway
and Central.
has already implemented it successfly, and results are for everyone to see.
So if
just look at the timetable. By cancelling 5 services,
one at a time, please.
By cancelling 5 services in the southern part of the city, if you can add 10 services in the northern part, it is catering to more passengers. It's as simple as that. The timetable is there for us to see.
One second. Let Ketan respond.
The proof of the pudding is always in the eating. If anyone gets up from the Andheri station and says that my bheed has gone down in my train, I can understand that. People ultimately what is happening is people don't travel by train and they talk about train. So what is happening is most of the railway officers, they are living in Malabar Hill. The GM is living in Malabar Hill. They don't know how the system is functioning. What we need is turnaround. Now there is only 2 ways to do the turnaround. Either we take the train all the way to Churchgate, or we turn around somewhere in between by connecting Western and Central.
No, it's already happening.
So that is what I had said.
It's already, there are services starting from Andheri and Kurla.
There are no extra platforms.
They have home
there
platforms.
Are no extra platforms.
The links and paths have been worked out.
Let us be honest. There is only 1 extra platform in Andheri.
So that's good enough to start services, no? Which they are doing.
So the harbour line extension.
Okay, so
they are doing that.
We're getting into a very technical discussion, gentlemen. I want to stop you here. I just want to understand one thing. There are people dying, and I'm going to refocus this conversation. There are people dying every day. Tomorrow morning, 7 people are going to die in the city of Mumbai. This is the reality in which we live.
That is reality, but
tomorrow
we have to
morning,
increase the number of trains.
I want to know, how do we stop those 7 people from dying tomorrow morning?
Samir Bhai will subscribe to the fact that statistics were 3,600 people dying every year, and 2016 calendar year we had 3,200 deaths. And the simple reason why the drop in fatalities has happened is because a lot of things have happened. Boundary walls are being created at a lot of places.
Mainly because of
boundary wall. So if 400 people less are dying, obviously
increase in capacity.
No, 400,
okay, so
even one life is important. So we
I agree. So 400 fewer people have died this year. But that's still 3,000 too many.
Of course. So we are going towards the right direction, right? So there are things which we need to suggest to the government through platforms like these, like creating boundary walls, creating no trespassing zones.
Samir Zaveri, do you agree? Samir Zaveri.
Yes. See, constructing the boundary wall is the direction given by the Bombay High Court 2004, 13 years ago to the Railway Authority. I collected information under RTI, filed contempt petition in 2009. 2012, contempt so-called notice was issued to General Manager of Railways. So now 80% boundary wall work is done. Order was given 2004. It is done in 2017. I want to quick focus on 2 things. See what happened when government run the business. There is mess and inefficiency. Business running the losses. So government don't invest more money. So first government should come out. They should not run any business. They should do the railway privatization. Number 1. Second. The respected representative of the BJP party, it is your robotic view that मेरे minister बहुत अच्छे करते हैं, etc. etc. I want to just compare during the Congress Raj, the general manager of Western Railway, Mahesh Kumar, was arrested by CBI under bribery scam. Thereafter, divisional railway manager was arrested, the Sandeep Shalash, in the bribery scam. Thereafter, recently, after Suresh Prabhu taken charge, Railway is the very huge vigilance department. They are paying crores of rupees salary. It is the public money. It is their duty to detect and catch, but they fail. And the CBI arrested recently last month the one Central Railway CST engineering officer caught 1 crore rupees cash on property from his residence. Okay, so nothing has changed. The last month, at Pune station, one sub-inspector of the Railway Protection Force caught while collecting bribe from the hawker. So nothing has changed.
Zaveri, what you're saying is that absolutely nothing has changed. There is no difference in the level of corruption in the railways, specifically in the Mumbai railways. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Aarti Sathe, please respond.
Well, you know, the whole tenor of this debate seems to be, like one panelist said, a very defeatist kind of tenor. And it's rather sad to see this kind of defeatist tenor when the government is doing everything possible to revamp the entire infrastructure as far as Mumbai is concerned.
It is being directed at me. Madam, I have already given you plans on how to increase your capacity by 300%. Your government is doing nothing.
I did not interrupt while you were talking. I did not interrupt while you were talking. Why are you interrupting me? I said the entire tenor of this debate. Please do not take anything personally. If I have to take personally, there is enough attack happening on the government in this debate too. I'm only saying that this government is doing everything possible to increase the infrastructure, and given the fact that we have, and I have repeatedly said on every debate on this, on various infrastructure issues, that we have inherited a legacy of corrupt governments where already the system is suffering endemically from a very, very long time. So all these things, to root out corruption, it is going to take some time as far as we are concerned. So to say that corruption has not gone away, it will go away. We are taking every possible step. In fact, BMC crackdowns are happening on road contractors only once our government has come into the picture.
All right, let me just get Ketan to respond to what you said, and I'm going to, and I'm quoting you, Aarti. You said this government is doing everything possible.
Everything possible.
Right, everything possible. Ketan Goradia, is the government doing one state? Everything possible, which means that are they looking at the plans? Are they changing? Can they change?
No. See, the basic problems. A, planning of Mumbai. Is anything concrete happening on that? Nothing is happening on that. B, what about the existing system? Are we going to improve it or just allow it to collapse? Nothing is happening on that. Take a minute, Aarti, now let me talk.
No, let him respond.
You can increase the capacity. Right now we are running maximum 17 trains.
You can continue talking. You can continue talking. And I am very...
Right now we are running 17 trains per hour. We can increase it to 40. Is the government doing anything about that?
Does the government have the plan to do that?
The government has the plan to do that. It is part of our committee report also how to do it. Now, is the government doing anything about that?
When was the committee report submitted?
Last year.
1 minute, Mr. Ketan, please do not raise your voice. I am happy to take your suggestions as a technocrat to the government. If there are any anomalies which you will suggest and which you are a party and which you think is necessary as a government representative, I will be happy to take every suggestion. My only point was to say that the government is not doing anything is incorrect. That is the only thing I was defending. Okay. But taking your suggestions is something this government, and as a representative of this government, I'm highly open to. So let's get this very clear.
Let's hear Ketan out. Ketan, you said that your committee had submitted a report to the government a year ago that would help the government increase capacity from the 4 times from what it is right now?
Yeah, we can actually increase the capacity by 400% in the existing system itself. Right now we are running 17 trains per hour. The world average is 40 trains per hour during peak time. We can increase it.
How long will it take to make that change?
It should be maximum 2.5 years. If we just make the 2 tunnels necessary connecting the Western and the Central Railway and bring Mumbai under one DRM, we should be able to do this within 3 years.
So if the plan that you had submitted was actioned upon a year ago, we would be halfway to quadrupling our capacity.
Yeah, we just need 2 tunnels, one a 1.8 kilometer tunnel and another 4.9 kilometer tunnel and a technology called CBTC.
For Aarti's benefit, Ketan, whose table is your report on right now?
Well, with both the CM and the Railway Minister, we have given multiple copies.
The Railway Minister in Delhi?
Yes, I've met him 3 times also.
Okay, who incidentally also happens to be from the city of Mumbai. So both the Chief Minister of Maharashtra and the Union Minister for Railways have on their tables for the last 1 year a plan that will allow the city of Mumbai to increase its capacity on the local trains 4 times over. Has that plan been vetted, considered any work on that at all, Ketan?
Well, the only active GM, Mr. Sood, retired last May, and after that nothing has been done, unfortunately. There have been 3 GMs since then, and it's just a musical chair going on out there.
Rishi Agarwal, is the government, and I'm quoting, doing everything possible to improve infrastructure?
See, earlier in the year in a Bombay First newsletter, I had appreciated the railways for some of the steps which have been expedited, like the platform raising is something which has been done at a very fast rate. Adding of FOBs, escalators, lifts, all of these are happening, and the wall. So it's not that the government is not doing anything, but the issue is, again, like I'm saying, that adding capacity. Of course, Ketan's suggestions, some of them are really valid, but adding just capacity to the railways is not good enough. You need to have parallel capacity in terms of other transportation systems. And just to add to it, we are using our road infrastructure in a very highly inefficient way. During peak hour, the travel speeds can be 10 to 12 kilometers per hour or 15 kilometers per hour. And that is really the big problem. Today, the news has come in that we are going to shut down our air-conditioned bus services.
Yes.
So we're not adding enough into our bus capacity. The road infrastructure already exists. You don't need to do any hard infrastructure investments. So this is, again, a transport planning, urban planning issue. And the extended suburbs, look at the way Virar, Vasai, Mira, Bhayandar in the past 30, 40 years have grown.
Do you think, one second, Rishi, do you believe that the government keeps announcing shiny new projects like bullet trains and elevated corridors? Because they're good, and they're good announcements to make, but the existing local trains don't get enough attention. That same money invested in the existing network and the existing road networks and the buses could perhaps do far more.
So thankfully, there is no investment being made, and there are only announcements on bullet trains, etc. So one cannot complain too much on that account. Had there been disproportionately high investments into that, then possibly it would have been a reason to complain. And having said that, I think within the Mumbai metropolitan region, we can generate enough resources within the region itself. So we need not necessarily be dependent upon doles from the center. And proportionate to some of our tax income, yes, we should get some of the money. But the resources are really not that much of a problem.
Well, I want to bring in Samir Zaveri. Samir Zaveri, unfortunately, still the decisions about our local trains in Mumbai are still being made in Delhi by people who don't understand how the city functions. Should that change?
See, it will change when people start raise voice. We forget 5 years. Again, politicians came. संस्कृत पे श्लोक है ना, वचनम किवम दरिद्रता, मतलब वचन देने में गरीबी क्यों, दो टोपला भर के, किधर हो गया नहीं हो गया, हरिओम, अगले बार करेंगे. सो जस्ट, और एक चीज मैं बताना चाहूंगा, देयर इज द फ्रीक्वेंसी. जब सबर्बन ट्रेन जो 100-120 की कैपेसिटी है उसकी स्पीड, अगर वो कैपेसिटी मेंटेन करे तो दिन में फेरे ज्यादा करेगी. तो आरती मैं को रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, आई हैव ऑब्टेन इन्फॉर्मेशन राइट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन एक्ट दैट मुंबई सबर्बन सेक्शन, हार्बर लाइन, सेंट्रल लाइन एंड वेस्टर्न लाइन, द जो रेलवे पटरी है ना, वो मोर देन 400 टाइम 2 साल में फ्रैक्चर हो गया था. उसके 2 रीजन है, एक तो फर्स्ट टाइम फ्रैक्चर हुआ, दूसरा वो ऑलरेडी फ्रैक्चर हुआ, वेल्डिंग फेल होने से फ्रैक्चर हो गया. तो क्या होता है, वो एरिया में जो स्पीड है ना, रिस्ट्रिक्शन किया कि 50 की स्पीड में चलेगा ट्रेन, मोटरमैन को इंस्ट्रक्शंस है. तो उसके लिए हमारे पास जो इंजीनियरिंग एक्सपर्ट्स है,
ये सब क्यों होता है, ये फ्रैक्चर बार-बार फ्रैक्चर
देखिए.
No, it's more to do with the quality of tracks.
Which Ketan mentioned, we had suggested at places like Bandra, the 5th corridor. So those kind of things, like extraordinary delay. I mean, the harbour line extension. So some of these things are like really within 6 months to 1 year to 1.5 years, things can be done. But again, having what Ketan also mentioned is a report which had come out by ORF also, that there should be unified DRM for this whole idea of central and western. So a lot of these are governance issues, which again the government, this current government should expedite, and we're not seeing governance issues being the architecture, the administrative framework being resolved as fast as it should be done.
I know Aarti Sathe has to leave, so I want one very quick suggestion from Samir Zaveri, who is an activist who's been fighting for people also who've lost their lives and lost their limbs to the train. Samir Zaveri, अगर लोगों की जानें अगर बचानी है हमें, तो क्या करनी चाहिए?
सिंपल आरती जी, रेलवे वो ऑफिसर जो मुंबई में है, राजा महाराजा की जिंदगी जीते हैं, जनरल मैनेजर है, डिविजनल रेलवे मैनेजर है, उनकी अकाउंटेबिलिटी फिक्स करे, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फिक्स करे और उनके ऊपर ईमानदारी से डिपार्टमेंटल एक्शन करे, उनको डिसमिस करे. आपको वही कैटेगरी के, वही स्टैंडर्ड के, वही क्वालिफिकेशन थे, उससे भी कई अच्छे लोग मिलेंगे एम्प्लॉय के लिए.
That's a great suggestion.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल रेलवे मिनिस्टर आज ही मैं एक जर्नलिस्ट से बात कर रहा था, CST स्टेशन पे अगर विजिट करते हैं तो एक भी हॉकर फेरी वाला नहीं दिखता है। जब वो नहीं रहते हैं तो हॉकर होते हैं। मैंने मोर देन कई बार देखा है, वीडियो निकाल के जनरल मैनेजर, डिविजनल रेलवे मैनेजर को भेजा है। 2 दिन पहले भी हॉकर थे, क्यों नहीं हटता है? CCTV है, आपके प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स है, इंटीग्रिटी चाहिए, ईमानदारी चाहिए हमें।
All right, those are very good suggestions. Aarti Sathe, just to round up the suggestions that are coming in right now, Rishi Agarwal, Sudhir Badami talking about how we need to have a roundabout transport plan that includes everything, including the buses, the metros, the trains, how they'll feed each other, where the last mile connectivity is. Ketan Goradia actually has a report right now that is sitting on both the Chief Minister's and the Union Railway Minister's table that will help us quadruple our capacity and actually have 4 times more capacity than we do right now. And of course, Samir Zaveri making a very simple request, which is push for more accountability of the officers who are running the railway. Do not allow them to be corrupt. Actually go up against Bhrashtachar, which is why this government was voted in, both into the centre and into the state. We understand you say it's going to take some time, but we'd like to see stronger action. And it's been 3 years already. We'd like to see the stronger action come in right now. Aarti.
Sure, absolutely, Faye. I completely agree with you that stronger action will be implemented, and we will as a government at all times root out corruption at all levels. When I said that this government is doing everything possible to increase the infrastructure, definitely we want a seamless transport system as far as Mumbai is concerned. There are various, we are having all technocrats in fact on today's show, and I'm happy to see that they have some very concrete suggestions. If at all any suggestion needs to be carried to the Chief Minister or even to the Railway Minister, or if any report which is lying on their tables for the last 1 year, if anything of that sort needs to be carried, I personally would be very happy to carry those suggestions. And we finally are a government committed to working for the betterment of the society and the betterment of people, and railways is an important, it's the heartline as far as Mumbai is concerned. And the statistics which I tried to read out, because there are so many statistics, so I couldn't read out the whole thing. The point I was trying to make is budget allocations have been made. Western Railway is working seamlessly, in fact, for quite a few years, and in fact even working more better now. And we are introducing new trains. We are introducing on trial basis AC coach trains. There is the safety has been increased. Mobile WhatsApp for women's safety has been increased. So wherever we get a chance to improve the system, we are doing it. But more suggestions, more accountability is always a welcome step from all the technocrats and all the citizens who are there on today's show.
Virendra Singh is on the phone line from Kalyan right now. Virendra Singh, go ahead.
हाँ, मैं कहना चाहता हूँ
जी
कि ये जो अपना मैंने बताया बीच में बात की थी इनको रेलवे वालों को कि अगर हम थाना बोरीवली लाइन में क्रिएट करते 28 किलोमीटर 30 किलोमीटर का तो बॉम्बे को 2 रिंग रूट मिलते हैं, थाना बोरीवली कुर्ला थाना और जो ये वाशी बोरीवली
that's part of the circular railway that I have proposed. So if they act on it, it will be there. It will be connecting Bhayandar and Diva.
Joseph Cavallo is on the phone line from Andheri. Joseph, go ahead. Do you take the train?
Yeah, madam, I'm on line over here.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Ms. Faye D'Souza.
Good evening.
I was on your program watching the discussion.
Yes.
I'm 63 years old and I have been traveling the Mumbai Western Railway for the last 35 years. The question is, whatever the discussion is going on,
yes,
that the train services are not enough.
Yes.
And that we are...
What is your point, sir? What is your point?
My point is...
Joseph?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joseph, very quickly. We're running out of time.
Yeah. The reason is our travelers are not educated. Our travelers are not educated.
Okay.
They start rushing to the train. They start rushing to the train right from the overhead from the...
I don't think that has anything to do with education, Joseph. I'm going to cut you off there. It has to do with the lack of capacity. If there were enough trains to accommodate all the travellers, nobody would need to rush and nobody would feel that they need to push or climb on the top of the train. We should stop blaming our citizens for the inadequacies of our governments. Parag is on the phone line from Thane. Parag, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mirana, for this opportunity. I would like to tell the viewer, the esteemed guests and the viewers.
Yes.
We are just talking utopian, you know. The fact of the matter is the trains are filthy, dirty, overcrowded. Nobody's bothered. Go to a station randomly. Let all the leaders, including your Mirana, go and check at the railway station just now whether the station master is in his cabin. You will not see one person doing his job. Number two, just on Monday, the same government has banned the aircon buses. How does an old man travel in Mumbai? How does he travel? In this crowded situation, are you not going to get old? It's such a shame we are talking. We're just talking utopian. I'm sorry, I absolutely hate this, nonsense talk. We have to be very, very objective when we speak. When we have to resolve a problem, there's no objectivity of this government at all. There's no cleanliness in the train. There's no... So
Parag, you're saying the trains have not improved at all in the last 3 years?
Few coaches have come. They have not been cleaned. They have never been cleaned. The stations are never cleaned. Last 3 years. What is the government talking? Why are they fooling us?
Why are they fooling us? All right. I want to get closing remarks from all of our panelists. I know, Samir, you want to go first. You believe that the government is not doing enough and there are a lot of things that can still be fixed.
Yes. For example, I will take only short 5 points. First, all information I obtained through Right to Information Act, 10 rupees ka power. In Mumbai suburban, there is the air-conditioned train reach last year March. It is yet not put in the service.
वो गाड़ियाँ पहुँच गए हमारे पास है लेकिन हम यूज नहीं कर रहे 1 साल से क्यों नहीं?
I don't know. So this is the inefficiency. One, if it put in the service as soon as it came, then it will help to reduce some overcrowding, whatever 1-2%. Second, another RTI reply: the escalators, the material for the 9 escalators reach in the Mumbai the railway go down, out of which since 1 year only 2 is set up and started. 7 is yet pending. Why? 2, 3. I am talking on ground level, which affect each and every person. In 2014 December, the Railway Protection Force constable caught on camera by one journalist, TV journalist, and thereafter he was dismissed because TV telecasted that video. Thereafter, the constable filed departmental appeal. He taken back in the service. Dismissal order is set aside and given some other minor punishment. So I sent email to the Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu 2 months ago. They dismissed these corrupt people. Why is taken back? Because it is the direct evidence. So I received reply. The taken back order is the Additional Chief Security Commissioner. He is 3-level junior. Assistant Security Commissioner reply me. No, it is taken proper. Then
so
why you allow corrupt people?
In fact, Ketan, my studio director just pointed out to me that in the central line between 8:30 in the morning and 8:40 or 8:45, there are no local trains. There are only mail trains that use that line. He also wants to know why the line doesn't go all the way to Kalyan, since a lot of people live in Kalyan. So obviously there are small problems that can be fixed, and nobody is actually stepping back and solving those problems.
No, the basic problem is planning. We are lacking a lot in planning. We should have connected somewhere in the region of around another 600 square kilometers to Mumbai. Our house price to income ratio has gone through the roof. It's crossed 800. This is forcing people into slums. The slums are encroaching on other lands meant for amenities. Now, this has become a situation which is almost unmanageable. The only way to solve this tangle is to make sure that the railway planning gets on track. We plan the lines which are needed to connect the new areas. The entire plan has been given to the Chief Minister. I just hope Aarti is true to her promise and follows up with the Chief Minister, and action is taken both by the Railway Minister and Chief Minister. Small things like appointing one DRM to manage the entire city would require a 1-page order from the Railway Minister. I have given a letter 1 year back, last April. Now, if certain things like this also cannot take place, so of course people like me, technical people like me, would be very, very disappointed and defeatist. But it's not because that we like or hate a particular party or a particular man. It's just that we just don't see anything happening.
You know, I want to ask Rishi Agarwal this question. Rishi, we've had so many conversations, and these conversations are about the bus service. They're about the lack of planning on open spaces. They're about the lack of planning on housing. They're a lack of planning on railways, which is also what Ketan's talking about. Fundamentally, all of these things, Rishi, are symptoms of the same disease, and that disease is corruption. And on some level, somebody drawing a map, drawing a road, commissioning a train is corrupt and is not making decisions in the interest of the citizens and the taxpayers of this city.
So the point, Faye, I wanted to make was that unfortunately some of us are left to having these discussions and arguments amongst ourselves. But the key culprits have been some of these opportunistic politicians in the past 30, 40 years who've been promising to convert Mumbai into a Shanghai and a Singapore and a London. And some of them have already passed away, some of them will pass away in the next 5 years. I mean, none of them suffer through all of these kind of problems. And they have opportunistically used Mumbai's limited landmass to extract maximum value for themselves.
Okay, let me just explain this to our viewers, Rishi.
Yeah.
And I'll say this in Hindi, जब trains ऐसे बनते और आपको इतनी मुश्किल है एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए, तो प्रॉपर्टी की प्राइस बढ़ जाती है. तो नारीमन पॉइंट और लोअर परेल और बैंड्रा और वर्ली की प्रॉपर्टी की प्राइस बढ़ जाती है. और जब मुंबई में प्रॉपर्टी की प्राइस बढ़ जाती है तो काफी सारे लोगों को पैसे मिल जाते हैं. That is the reason why we travel like that. That is the reason why we travel like that. क्योंकि अगर ट्रेन यहाँ से उर्वे तक बनती तो हम सब जाके वहां पे रह जाते, तो यहाँ की प्राइस गिर जाती और ये कोई नहीं जानता.
And the thing is that we've been misusing the lifeline for a far too long, and that's why the lifeline has become into a death line. So had we been planning this capacity additions all these years, and the other thing is that there is no unified transport planning happening at all. A decision like the BST decision to summarily discontinue the AC bus services is unheard of in any other global city. These kind of decisions are taken completely by a unified command, which completely weighs the consequences of each and every decision. Today, the people who've been traveling by these AC buses, who have not been dependent upon cars, will automatically jump to trains.
Jump to trains, or they'll just be jump to cars. They'll just be inconvenienced. Where are they going to go? There's a service that's running right now. People are using it.
Instead of augmenting your bus service, saying that our trains are going overcrowded,
I have another very quick question for Ketan.
We are actually taking away buses.
Double-decker trains. Apparently, the Flying Rani and the Balsar Express that go to Gujarat are double-decker trains. Why isn't that a solution that's being considered in our local as well? Will that increase capacity?
No, I have suggested those double-decker trains from for shuttle service between Kalyan and Kasara and Kalyan and Karjat. Now we just need to run our normal local trains up till Kalyan, and then from there you should run this double-decker trains, because what happens is if you run it through and through, your automatic CBTC becomes very difficult. You cannot have CBTC right up till Kasara and Kalyan. So from Kasara to Kalyan or
in English, what does that mean? So basically, the current infrastructure cannot support a double-decker right through. We should feed Kalyan, because, and then Kalyan can take a double-decker further. Is what you're saying.
So basically, Virar and Kalyan should be the hub for outstation shuttles, and shuttles should be taken right up till Nasik. If you see Kasara, people get down at Kasara, and then what are they doing? They are going taking cabs to Nasik. Now, isn't the government knowing this? Why don't you run shuttles right up till Nasik?
Right. Okay, so I want to bring in Sudhir Badami. Sudhir Badami, I know that you are all too painfully aware of the problem of the lack of planning in our city. And Rishi, the point that Rishi makes is very true. AC buses. You shut down, there's now talk of shutting down the AC bus service, but there's no talk of shutting down the monorail service. Now, I understand that we need a monorail perhaps as part of a larger plan, but right now it's not being used, but we're spending money. There's electricity being used, moving that monorail from Chembur to Wadala and back and forth all day, carrying nothing but air. That should be at least closed down during the rush hour. Use the money to run the buses. There's not enough planning.
To start with, let me say that I am very pained that you gave me very little time. That's very little time you're giving me, with all these people talking different languages and different issues in different manners. I have counter answers to each one of them. I think you are given very little unjust time. So there's no point my discussing these issues, but bottom line is very simple. if you want to call railways, reduce the casualties on the railway front, you need to actually have only, what should I say, public transport should be a state subject. It is not a railway per se. It is a state subject, and state should look at it as urban problem. An urban transport problem has to be sorted out by the state government, and railways should only be assisting it. I think we have to bring in BRTS. I have not used the word so far because you are allergic to it. And one more thing I want to just mention, you started off by exaggerating the number of people getting killed. 6,000 is exaggeration. It used to be 4,000, I think, about 6 years back. By efforts of persons like Damani, we have got reduced by 10%. So that is essentially for people who are transgressing onto the railway tracks. So a lot of other issues which need to be talked. I don't think there's enough time for me to discuss this.
All right, we have in fact, like Sudhir pointed out, run out of time, but it is true that this is a lifeline, or like Rishi called it, a deadline that needs tremendous attention at this point. There are a lot of projects that the government is looking at, and one only asks that the Mumbai local be one of those projects. Sudhir and a lot of people on the panel making some very, very important suggestions, but most of all, accountability of the people who run this service. More importantly, accountability of the people who are making these plans and these suggestions. Who are they? What are their qualifications? And how are they? Who's advising them when they are writing out plans of doors as the solution of adding more bogies to a train that Ketan was telling us is not going to be able to take that. Also, the third point is, if these decisions are being made in Delhi by people who have not used our local and don't know what it is like to travel in the Mumbai local, then maybe that entire process needs to be reconsidered. The people of Mumbai work very hard and they pay their taxes. They deserve to be treated in a better and a more humane manner when they travel to work every day. I want the government to stop calling this the spirit of Mumbai and start recognizing it for what it is, a desperation of people who have no other choice. They will come back tomorrow and get back on that train because they have no other choice. And it is your duty as the government to give them a better option. That's the duty that we're going to be watching very closely too. And of course, Aarti has given us some commitments. We're going to track and see if any of that is put into place, and we'll bring you that information as it happens. In the meantime, please, tomorrow when you get on the train, stay safe. Thanks for watching.